Today's guest conversation is with a Tampa Bay Rays farmhand. He was their 11th round selection in the 2024 Major League Baseball Amateur Draft out of the University of Houston. Right-handed pitcher, Mr. Cade Citelli. Here's episode 49 of the Baseball Forward podcast. Cade Citelli, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to talk to you. I know what you got going on right now, man. Let's see. This is your first spring training. Is that correct?
It is. Yep. I'm excited. It's going
well.
well.
Tell me about it. So, you're recording from where? Where are you guys at right now? What city are you in, and kind of how is spring going for you so far?
It's going great. We're in Northport. Our complex is in Port Charlotte, so they have us staying just apartments right outside of Port Charlotte in Northport. It's nice. Love it here. I mean, spring's going great so far. It's coming to an end, but I'm excited to get to my first affiliate.
And that is going to be in, I believe I saw it, South Atlantic League, Charleston?
Charleston is low A. So not sure where I'm going yet, but most likely it's looking like I'll start out in low A. So Charleston.
Okay. I played in Charleston way back in the day. Do you ever remember a guy named BJ Upton? Does that name sound familiar? It's a younger generation. He was the big thing to do anyway. He made his pro debut with Charleston. I think it's the River Dogs. So
yeah, the River Dogs.
Yeah, man. So you get to go there. That'll be nice. All right. Yeah. So spring training. I mean, let's kind of get into this because the audience listening to Cade Citelli on the Baseball Forward podcast today, they want to know what it's like to be you and what spring training is like. So I want to, the first question I'm going to ask is, as you go into your first spring training, were you nervous? Like, did you not knowing what to expect? Kind of take me through what you were thinking as you before you got down there to Port Charlotte.
Maybe a little nervous. I came to an early camp, so I was here for a couple of weeks before spring training actually started. So I kind of got the hang of it. And then after the draft, it's kind of the same thing like we reported here. So it's just pins a couple times a week. Got like just get our arms ready, get into some live at bats. And then once spring training officially started, not too much changed. Like it was just kind of like picked up the pace a little bit with like PFPs, and then we just now started playing games, so it's really not too much of a difference at all.
Okay. Is it kind of pinch yourself? Because listen, let's I know you're a pretty low key guy, but let's call it what it is. You're living a dream right now. So you're playing professional baseball for Tampa Bay. You're getting a paycheck from the Rays. Is it a pinch yourself? Are you appreciating what you're going through? Are you taking time to kind of smell the roses?
I am. Yeah, it's great. I think about it all the time, how like grateful I am and just happy to be here every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've got a really cool backstory. So I'll start with this. You were a catcher, I believe, coming up, and then you got converted to a pitcher. Talk me through. I'm curious. When did you make that transition to kind of a pitcher only?
My senior year of high school, I was just, I always like pitched a little bit, but like not a lot. I played everywhere. I played outfield, infield, just everything, but mainly a catcher in high school. And then I just enjoyed pitching a lot more than anything else. That's really what it came down to. Like, I just had the most fun, I feel like, just on the mound. Like, I wasn't that good at first when I became a pitcher. I mean, I threw somewhat hard in high school, but like, I wasn't that good. I had a lot to learn. Didn't know anything about arm care, warming up, just got on the mound and started throwing. So I think that's shortly after my senior year, because that was COVID, so we didn't play a lot of games.
Oh, yeah.
Went into summer ball before college and tore my UCL. So, yeah. So going into college, I like to say I got it at a good time, got it out of the way with kind of. But after that, I learned a lot about like just how to stay healthy, how to take care of your arm, just proper warm up, all that recovery. So that helped a lot. And then just fixing my mechanics, obviously, because I've never really been taught how to pitch.
Sure.
So I kind of spent my first few years in college just figuring all that out. And then this past year, it just really clicked. Started hammering the strike zone,
Yes,
and everything was working.
So I want to hear about that. And I got to say this first, Cade Citelli, what's up? I'm sure he'll listen to it. But okay, I want to know. Dane is his dad, by the way, everybody. I want to know what clicked. So listen, man, making that transition is hard because pitching, it seems easy until you're out there doing it, right?
Yeah.
And I want to know, was there a specific mechanical thing, mental thing, approach thing that you were working on where finally the light bulb just went off and went on and you're like, oh man, I think this might be it.
I think the main thing was it was just a mental thing, you know? Like, obviously, when I first started out pitching, my mechanics weren't great, but that just over time got better with like just repetition and stuff.
Sure.
But in college, like early on, I had good stuff. Like my pitches were good. I was just, I was just everywhere. I didn't really know where it was going.
Yeah. That's fun.
This past year, it was just something clicked. I don't really know. I know my mindset changed where I kind of like before I would kind of just be like, oh, hope I don't walk this guy. Like, oh, I got 3 balls on him, get a little yippy.
Yep.
But this past year, I was like, I don't want to say like I stopped caring, but that's kind of like what it was.
Wow.
Like it helped a lot, just like throw my best stuff, start at middle and just throw it with intent, with conviction, like behind every pitch. And it really worked.
Dude, there's so much to be said about a pitcher. I don't care if you're throwing 85 or you're throwing 95. A guy, because I want the younger audience to hear this. When you say throwing it with conviction, there's a difference. I mean, when you throw it with conviction, when you say I let that ball go with conviction, with intent, what does that mean to the younger guys that are out there trying to be in your position?
Don't worry about what the hitter does, and don't worry about anything that's out of your control. Just, have all the confidence in the world behind every pitch you throw. Doesn't matter if it's 0-0 or 3-0, doesn't matter. Like, and then don't think in the future, if it's 3-0, you cannot think, oh, I hope I don't walk this guy, because you're going to walk the guy if you think that.
That's right.
Like, you have to treat every pitch like it's a no count, pretty much, within reason. But
it is pitching at this point in your career. So you went to UTA, you blew out, you said you blew out your UCL, you transferred to the University of Houston. I mean, those are some really good baseball schools. So is there a point where you're not overwhelmed with like the glitz and the glamour and the lights anymore, and you just say, okay, this is what I need to focus on?
Yeah, I was never really overwhelmed. I mean, my first year at Houston, I'll say this, like leaving UTA, I was still very inexperienced in pitching. And that summer, before going to Houston, I played summer ball and threw about at least 50 innings in summer ball, which was kind of crazy, but like I needed it. Like I needed to get some more experience on the mound. So my first year at Houston, kind of threw a lot in the fall and then just wasn't feeling it in the spring. I was kind of hanging, like I needed a shutdown, but just threw all spring, and my mechanics got kind of bad just from being fatigued. So that next summer I actually took off completely, which was, I think, the best possible thing I could do for myself, because it made the next year just great. Like my arm felt great, mechanics, everything.
Gosh, that's a good feeling. I want to talking with Cade Citelli, Tampa Bay Rays right-handed pitcher. So you said arm care earlier, and I think it to me, boy, you guys, this generation, you're living in probably a better time, and maybe almost too much, but there's a better understanding of what you need to be doing and what you don't need to be doing, supposedly, right? So when you talk about arm care, How important is it to kind of have that daily routine and not skip and make sure you're doing your band work and whatever it is you're doing? How important is arm care to kind of your availability and your productivity?
I mean, it's huge. It's like I think the biggest part of the game is recovery, finding a good routine and just recovering good, because this is what we do every single day. You have to be ready to go the next day.
Yeah.
For instance, I threw a bullpen today. I could take the day off tomorrow, but like, I want to make sure that I'm feeling, or try to feel 100% like as possible tomorrow, so it makes the next day better.
Wow. Yep.
It's just the faster you can come back, especially like in season. We play all these games, and like, if you're a bullpen arm, you need to be ready to go like pretty much every day.
Sure.
So I mean, it's huge.
And it's doing it daily. I think a lot of guys that as they're coming up, they don't understand that pitching is not the day you pitch, it's the days in between you pitch. So can you kind of explain what that means to the audience when you hear that?
The days in between you pitch, like, you need to make sure you're getting a lot of rest, doing your arm care. If you need some treatment, go in for treatment. Like, some days you're not going to feel good. Like, you just want to go home and you want to skip something. But like, if you can just make yourself get in there and just stick to your routine of getting treatment. Like, I mean, there's a lot of days where I'm tired and I just want to go home and sleep, which is a great thing for you. But like, I know I need to go get treatment. I need to do this arm care. I need to like just fight through this lift,
Yep.
Not always going to feel it, but it's just, you have to do it.
I love it, man. Talking with Cade Citelli here on the Baseball Forward podcast today. Cade, I want to see you smile right now. So I'm gonna bring something up maybe that'll make you smile. All right. So I want to know, like, what is it about baseball that, man, gets you going? Like, what is it about baseball that sucked you in, that drew you in, and is it something you feel on a regular basis?
Just striking people out. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, it is.
Blowing fastballs by people. There's nothing better than it.
I love it. Has the Rays organization, have they defined what your role will be? Do they sit down and they say, this is your quickest path to the big leagues, we believe? Have they had those conversations with you? Do you kind of understand where you're at with everything?
Not yet. It's still kind of up in the air.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet.
I'm curious. What do you think that is?
I think starting is going to be the best for me, but I'm open to either one. It doesn't really matter to me. I just like throwing.
Yeah. So right now, you threw a bullpen today? How many pitches did you throw?
Only about 15 today. I threw against the Braves like 2 days ago, so pretty light today.
When you throw that bullpen today, coming off 2 days ago, pitching live, what are you working on in 15 pitches?
Today we're working on 2-strike execution. So just, keeping my changeups down, my sliders away, fastballs up. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can only do so much with 15 pitches. But each bullpen we try to focus on at least one thing.
I love it. At this point in the spring, you're used to spring training, I'm sure. Have you any cool moments so far? Like, have you faced any big leaguers out on the backfields? Any moments that kind of stand out to you? Like, wow, this is a little bit different than anything I've ever been around.
The other day when we were playing the Braves, I didn't face them, but we're playing against Ronald Acuna, and then fun. Chadwick Trump. So I wish I got to face him. He was just going around backfield games, just taking at bats. It was pretty cool to watch, though.
Heck yeah, man. Acuna, that dude, and I think he's rehabbing, isn't he? He was
his ACL.
Like an ACL. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, He was just hitting. He wasn't running at all, but
okay,
it's cool to see.
Talking with Cade Citelli, Tampa Bay Rays today. That's got to sound kind of cool to hear that, man. And getting the paycheck with the Tampa Bay Rays in that upper left is kind of cool too. Cade, I want baseball forward, like what we're all about. Our goal is to elevate the next generation. There are so many guys out there dreaming of being in your position. I mean, you played Division I baseball. You're playing professional baseball. You're drafted 11th round. I mean, these guys are invested in you. Okay, so if I was to just give you a tough question and say, if you had to say there was one thing that got you to the position that you're in right now, what would that be? What would you say?
One thing, just consistency. You know, like I've had plenty of bad outings, like horrible games. And I think the biggest thing that I changed this past year would be just learning how to like let it go, not trying to fix something after a bad game, think something's wrong with your mechanics, when I think like 90% of it is just mental, you know? So when I fixed that, it really changed my game.
How do you do that? Because I'm telling you, dude, hey, I've been there and I couldn't do it. Okay. So I couldn't turn it off. It consumed me. How does a guy your age figure out that, hey, now's not the time to be worrying about this? That's not a productive thought. Like, how did you kind of work through that and establish that as kind of your go-to?
I think getting your mind off baseball is huge. Like when you leave the facility or whatever, like leave your game, just stop thinking about it. You know, don't go home and just worry about everything, try to fix something, try to find something to fix. You're just digging a deeper hole. You know, I think you just got to let it go, get your mind off baseball, try to go do something you enjoy. If you like golfing, go golf, fishing, anything, you know.
How do you get your mind off? What do you do?
I like to golf a little bit.
All right.
Just hanging out with friends, just doing anything.
I got you. It's got to be, I'm a dad to, young guys, 10, 11, okay, and they love the game. And as I was talking to your dad a couple weeks ago, getting to know him a little bit through Jim Schwanke, you can see the pride, and it's real, and it's like, wow, this is my son is doing this stuff, is doing what, so from your perspective, is it kind of cool when you get to be able to talk to your mom, your dad, your sister, your girlfriend, what is that kind of a cool like distraction to kind of see that they're kind of like living through you in a sense, not like they're psychos or anything like that, but it's cool to talk to them and relay what's going on with your life.
It is. Like, I know how like hard it is to get where I am and like the odds of it. So like, I think about that often. Like, I'm very fortunate to be here, and I can, I don't know. I mean, I guess so.
Does your dad, because I'm just thinking as a dad, man, I'm like, son, please call me, tell me how the day was every day. Like, do you feel like you get to communicate with them regularly and let them know how everything is going?
I call them after anytime I'm off the mound. So like probably 3 days a week, I'll call them that day and just tell them how it went, keep them in the loop.
That means everything, dude. That means everything. Don't ever lose that. Cade Citelli, right-handed pitcher of the Tampa Bay Rays organization. Hey, he's their 11th round pick in the 2024 MLB Amateur Draft. All right, so I want to know this. You get drafted. Number one, did you have a really good idea that you were going to get drafted? Because most guys do, especially if they're in the 11th round. They're paying attention to you. So did you know that you were going to get drafted? And what was that like for you? Was that a special moment? Was it something you were expecting? Was it something that took you by surprise? Describe what that felt like for you.
I actually was not 100% sure I was getting drafted until like day 3 of the draft. Wow. So I went in the first round on day 3 of the 11th round. I heard the only thing I heard up until that day 3 was day 2 that night from the Rays. And they text me, is like, you still want to go tomorrow? I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. But that's the only call I got. And then day 3 comes around, and me and my girlfriend just go to breakfast. We're in Dallas, and we park, we walk in. I get a call from like the Red Sox or the Dodgers, and kind of same conversation. I'm like, okay, let's go eat. We sit down at the table, and then I think I get like 5 more calls at the table. So the draft's starting in like 30 minutes. So I'm like, all right, we got to go. We have to go home. And then I think like 5 minutes into walking into the door at my house, I got drafted. Wow. So it was pretty crazy. It all happened so fast.
Did you cry?
I didn't. I was kind of like, I don't know. I was like in shock.
Yeah. Who was the scout? Just always showing love, baseball forward. Who was the scout that drafted you?
Chris Home.
Okay.
The Houston area scout.
That has got to be that will go down as one of your top moments probably in your life, because what a sense of accomplishment, like a relief. It's almost like validation that I'm actually okay at what I'm doing. Is that kind of what you felt in that moment?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I knew I deserve it. I had a great year at Houston. But yeah, for sure. Like, I felt so honored to be in that situation.
I love it. Talking with Cade Citelli on the Baseball Forward podcast today. I know you're living it right now, and the guys listening to this, there's a lot of, younger audience. Heck, there's a lot of parents that listen to this that want to be where you're at. Okay. So they're looking for like the magic pill and the formula. And I get it. There's not a magic pill that you can take, but if you were giving good advice and you were trying to give some advice to the younger guys out there that are wanting to realize that dream of playing high level college baseball, or professional baseball, what advice do you have to the younger guys coming up in the game right now?
Just know that it's a very, very long process, and you have to stick to it. Like, there's gonna be days where you're not feeling it at all and you don't want to do anything, but if you can just stick to a routine, it's gonna not only make you so much better, it like physically and mentally. And then just don't stress about like bad outings. Like what I said earlier, like just let it go. Like, you don't always need to change something in your delivery, mechanics, just like, I would say, just evaluate yourself a lot. And I don't know, I would say like that was the biggest thing for me, at least. Just stop like changing stuff, and then it's more mental than anything else.
Gosh, that's such good advice. Just quit tinkering around and thinking that you're like a damaged product. Because what always blows my mind is you get to that level, even the collegiate level, right? Like if you're at the University of Houston or UTA, you're there for a reason. Like, why are we thinking we need to tinker around? Okay, so I want to make that transition into coaching. Like the guys that impacted you the most, the coaches that impacted you the most. Why do you think they impacted you the most? Was it like, what was their style? Were they forgiving? Were they graceful? What think of some of the coaches that impacted you, and what were those reasons? Why did they impact you?
I've never really had a pitching coach that really tried to mess with my mechanics that much at all. Like, until I really got drafted, like, I didn't realize that I really needed to change anything. Obviously, I'm working on stuff now in my mechanics, just to kind of like touch them up, make them a little better, maybe find a little extra velocity in there. But for the most part, all my coaches have just been like more mental, and like pitch shape and like design and stuff like that. So, which helped a lot. It's really nice when you don't have mechanical issues going through your head, like in a game or something. Like, that's the worst thing. that you can think about while competing.
And I want the younger coaches and any coaches out there to think about that because, boy, baseball is a delicate. It's so fragile. Like one day you're here, the next day you're there. You stay in the middle. So, where does the calm, cerebral, mentality? Where does that come from for you?
You just got to be a competitor. When you step on the mound, you just got to always think you're better than whoever's in the box. It might not be true. Like, I'm not the best one out here, but you have to think you are.
Yep.
You're going to be you're most successful when you just are thinking you're the best one. There's no one can beat you.
I love hearing that. Talking with Cade Citelli on the Baseball Forward podcast today. Okay. Lessons learned, man. When I say lessons learned to you, is there anything that stands out just up to this point in your career? Is there anything that stands out where you say, boy, I wish I'll say it like this. If you were giving advice to your younger self, kind of learning through some hard times, what would you have told yourself, a younger version, say, hey, maybe stay away from this, or maybe do more of that?
I would just say, just stick to it. It's not always going to go your way. A lot of things are uncontrollable. You can't control a bad call, an error, or anything like that. You just don't let those things affect you. And then just that kind of ties in with competing. You got to be a really good competitor.
Do you being a good competitor to you, is it, well, I'll say this, being a good competitor, is being a good teammate part of that? Like, do you even think about that at this point? Like, what is being a good teammate, and because I've heard a lot of good things about you being a good teammate, and I want to tie that in is, what makes a good teammate, and is that part of the competition deal? Like that's what you're out there doing?
Yeah, for sure. I think being a good teammate's huge. Being able to pick a guy up when you just got pulled for having a bad day,
Sure.
And that kind of ties in with having a short memory, just letting it go. I think the more you can do that, the better you're going to be.
Okay. What kind of music do you like to listen to? I'm curious.
I like all types of music. This past year, I did a rock walkout song, which is kind of not me, but
what was it?
Mother by Danzig.
Mother. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That's something from yeah.
It's kind of different for me, but I liked it.
Okay. So let's stick with music. I enjoy. Do you like listening to music?
Yeah.
All right. So give me some names, because you're from the Dallas area. He's from DFW area. My guess is you like some country, some some
I like
Texas.
everything.
Okay.
Like country, rap, pop, whatever, rock.
All right. Do you get a walkout song in I don't even remember that, in pro ball? Do you get a walkout song?
Yeah, once you get to the affiliate, I have no idea what I'm picking. I need to start putting some thought into that because it's coming up.
We're gonna put that on social media, and we're gonna say, somebody pick a song for Cade Citelli. I'm gonna throw mine out there. Pink Floyd. That's what I came up. Pink Floyd, Money. I think that's something that you need to at least take a listen to. Okay. The beginning of Money. So
I'll listen to it.
All right. In the off season, is it your focus? I know it was kind of the first off season as you're preparing for pro ball. Mm-hmm. Is it? Do you feel like do you feel like you accomplished what you wanted to accomplish prior to spring training this off season?
I do. I felt like I had a really good off season, but I kind of wish that I was working on all the mechanical things I'm working on now in the off season, because I didn't really know I needed to fix some things until I got here, which is kind of just how it is. It's the first spring training. And then after the draft, I was rehabbing, so they didn't really see me too much to give me anything to work on. So But it's all good. I mean, I felt like I had a really good off season. Got stronger, put some weight on, and showed up here just ready to go. So I'm
I'm
feeling
cur-
good about it.
I'm curious when you say some of the things that minor tweaks, like mechanically. Let's be nerdy about this. I want to know because I've seen your delivery and
Mhm.
I like what I see. So what mechanically are you fine tuning at this point in your career?
Trying to get a little bit more separation,
Okay.
just a tiny bit more, but a little bit can go a long ways.
What does
Um,
that mean? What does that mean, Cade? When you say try to get a little bit more separation, what does that mean?
hip to shoulder separation, trying to get keep my shoulders rotated back as my hips open. Um, yeah, it's kind of hard to do, but there's certain drills that they give you, and tons of things that help it. Until you get on the mound, they don't want you thinking about it. If you're out in a game, they just want you to compete.
Oh, but we had a little glitch there. No worries. So
Oh yeah.
okay, but I want to go back to it. So hip to shoulder. Weird. I was talking to my boys about that like literally last night. So when you say drills, like what drills do they give you to do the to work on that hip shoulder separation?
Mainly just like plyo drills. With the plyo balls, just really feeling it because it's easier to feel things with plyo balls,
Yeah,
because it's not full intent, obviously. So you're just
sure.
standing with the ball in front of you. You don't have to worry about, hitting a guy in the chest or whatever. It's just you're throwing a ball and trying to feel something. So I think it helps a lot.
I love hearing that, and obviously the separation. The thing that comes to my mind is that Aroldis Chapman
Hmm.
when he strikes, how the shoulders are twisted completely. But is
Yeah.
that kind of what you're saying right there?
Yeah. A lot of guys, like you'll see it in hard throwers like Chapman. They just have elite separation, which it can be hard to work on, but it's
Mm.
just, it's a process,
Yep.
to
Yep.
every day we're working on it. So eventually it will get better.
Talking with Cade Citelli. Cade, on the Baseball Forward podcast today. Cade Citelli with the Tampa Bay Rays. A couple more minutes here, Cade. Um, College baseball, man. Holy cow. I want to take a step back. I mean, college baseball to me has gotten, it's older, like just so much more polished. So coming from the University of Houston and seeing that last year, talk to me what you see in college baseball now. Does it make the comparison, if you would? Like
Mhm.
you were at the University of Houston, the Big 12 is legit. Uh, Pro ball, legit players everywhere. Talk to me, like compare the two levels right now for me, if you can.
I think it is a big difference. It is. But like with everything going on with like NIL in college now, it's kind of like making it similar to pro ball.
Yeah,
I don't know if I really like it. Because I think it kind of like ruins like mid-major baseball,
that's right.
you know?
Yeah. Is it what, because I know, and we don't have to get into specifics at this point, but when you were playing last year, there's money being had, and it changes it, like you said, it affects the levels below.
Mhm.
Did it take, did NIL, like I can't imagine it when I was coming up, like the goal was, oh, I want to play college baseball, I want to go to Omaha, but like all those dreams and everything. Did the NIL stuff in a way like taint what you thought of what it should be?
Yeah, for sure. Because like, there used to be a mid-major team that all like would sneak into Omaha,
Yep.
and you're not going to see that anymore, really, because like all the best
Mm.
players from every team's just transferring to the, you know, whoever's paying the most,
Yeah.
which
Yep.
is going to be like a top 5 school, so it's just I don't really like it, but it is kind of cool for college kids to, get paid that much off their skill. I mean, I feel like they deserve it, but
Sure.
I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, man, it is. It's a different game.
Yeah.
Uh, what what do you think at this point? You're at this stage of your life. What has baseball taught you? Like, what are you paying attention to? What does baseball teach you kind of about your life, and why do you value being a baseball player so much?
It's taught me a lot. I mean, routines, just, there's going to be other things in life that's, it's going to be a process to fix, and I think baseball's taught me that. Learning how to deal with adversity, because, anyone that plays baseball is going to have a lot of adversity in their career, especially if they are playing at a high level or plan to play at a high level. There's going to be a lot of obstacles that they're going to have to find a way to get through.
And that is, gosh, to the younger guys out there listening, that's like the hardest thing to really comprehend, because you're going to face failure. You're going to face adversity. And I know this, being old now, you realize that the guys that are evaluating you, they're not evaluating you based on how good you're going to, like, it's not like they know you have what it takes to be at the highest levels. They're essentially saying, how does he deal with the failure and how quickly can he bounce back? Do you understand that about kind of where you're at?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's huge. I think that's the most important part to the game, just learning how to bounce back from failure, because you're going to fail a lot, especially if you're a position player, that's, you get on base 3 times out of 10, or you get a hit 3 times out of 10, that's pretty good, which sucks, but it is what it is.
It does suck, man. Hey, I remember so many times and I know you probably have felt this, like leaving the field feeling like King Kong, and then leaving the field like you just wanted to go drive your car off a cliff.
Yep.
You know those extremes, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've been there many times.
So if you're out there listening to Cade Citelli talk, guys, it's real. And he's there for a reason. And they want to, I wish somebody would have told me, Ross, hey bud, you're a 2-pitch guy. Go get 6 outs. That's the best you'll ever do. Clearly define who you are, and then just go chase it. What I love hearing from you is, yeah, man, you like know what you're good at, and then accept the game, accept failure as part of the game, because I think if you can do that, you got a chance to go a long way. Agree?
Right. For sure.
What is the ultimate goal? This is what I want to finish with. What is your ultimate goal, Cade?
Have a long career in the big leagues. I think that's everyone's ultimate goal, there's nothing better than that,
Yep.
Getting paid to play a game, that's what everyone wants. And I mean, that's what I'm getting right now, but the ultimate goal is the big leagues.
That's right. Well, Cade, man, I am appreciative of your time. I know you're a busy man this time of the year, and I appreciate you sitting down with me and talking on the Baseball Forward podcast. Give me something to, if you said consistency, so I want to end with consistency. These guys that are wanting to take something from you, what can they be consistent with on a daily basis to get where you're at?
Find a routine, develop a routine that makes your body feel good, and recover. Recovery, sleep, hydration, huge. It's huge. It's going to really set you apart from the rest. If you can just develop a solid routine from the day you pitch to the next day you pitch, a 7-day long routine. You can have off days in there or whatever. Just, you need to stick to it,
That's right. And you know what, Cade? You just described life, my friend, is find a routine that works, sit in it. And sometimes it's boring. Sometimes you don't want to do it, but you got to do it to be successful and get the things that you want in life.
Exactly.
Cade, you're the man. Hey, truly, my friend, pleasure talking to you. I wish you the best, man. I hope you get everything you want out of this career of yours and enjoy every minute. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You bet, man. Hey, we'll talk to you sometime soon. Cade Citelli on the Baseball Forward podcast.